Everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Nicole. So this is Ted's super special awesome ending, and I'm just gonna skip over the stuff that we've already seen. I'm free. Na. Grades, California, blah blah blah. Na. There you go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start. It's only when I see him sitting on a bench that my thoughts drift elsewhere. Ted leans back against the bench, a leg folded over the opposite thigh. I see that he's reading something in his hands, but he takes his eyes off it every so often to scan the people walking past him. Is this why he asked what time my final was going to be? I'm giddy again, but for a whole other reason. I hurry and skip closer to him. Ted! I wave to catch his attention, and the corners of his lips rise into a small smile. Look-a-here. I wasn't expecting you for another half hour. Oh, surprised? What can I say? I must be a bio genius. Cocky's never cute, you know, but I'll make an exception for you. Grinning, I lean over and peck at his unsuspecting lips, catching him by surprise. Shucks, thanks. Ted glares back at me in embarrassment. I'm not sure whether it's because I copied his accent or because I kissed him. He's such an old man. Even though we're dating, there's no PDA ever for anything. At least warn a guy. But you're so cute when you get flustered like that. He huffs at my teasing, making me giggle. Mercifully, I take a seat beside him and peer over his shoulder at what he's reading. What you got there? It's a book of all the clubs here on campus. I got it from the student service building. Ted angles the pages so I can get a better look. Wow, I didn't know our school had this many clubs. The names and descriptions endlessly lined down the page with some action shots thrown in here and there for good measure. And the font's not even that big. Now that the shop's closing down, I'm going to be left with more free time than I'm used to. So I figured, heck, why not join a club? I could join a sports team too. The lacrosse team is looking mighty interesting. Ew, please don't join a sports team. Why's that? Because organized sports are gross. Plus, if you joined, I wouldn't be able to join with you. She says that now, but she wasn't saying that so much to Kurt. I hug Ted's arm and squeeze. If you really want to rock out with your jock out, at least make it an intramural club. I think most teams are co-ed. Ted's stunned speechless for a few seconds before his words come out in his usual babbling mess. You join a club with me? I wasn't thinking of forcing you or nothing. I wouldn't hate it either, but I wasn't sure if it was the kind of thing you were into. Well, duh, I'm your girlfriend. I should at least try to be into what you're into. But you better join a really cool club or it's a no-go. I lean off Ted jokingly and cross my arms. Sorry, I don't make the rules here. Ted chuckles and shakes his head, looking more motivated than he was before. I'll come up with something, little Miss Picky. I smile as Ted agrees, but then I jolt straight up in my seat. Oh, I nearly forgot! I set my bag beside me so I can get my phone. I need to call my mom. I promised her I'd tell her how my test went after I finished it. Watch my bag. I'll be back in a sec. Sure. I don't want to bother Ted with my conversation. It shouldn't take too long anyway. But when I try calling my mom, I get sent to her voicemail. I guess she's busy? I'll just leave a message. Hey Mom, just calling to say the test went great. And, I guess that's it? Call me back when you get this. My phone surprises me by suddenly buzzing against my face, and I hastily finish the message. Okay, bye, love you. Was that a text from someone? No, it was another email, and it's from Roller again. Ugh, whenever I see it's a Roller message, my stomach seizes in on itself like a cave-in. I always wonder if it's going to be another fake blog made by the abductor. And what do you know? It actually is this time. The username, Corning to Get You. At this point, I'm way too jaded to be scared, but the name is unsettling to read. The day has come. Fight or flight. Will you make the first strike at the abandoned battlefield, or shall I? The day has come. I take back everything I said about not being too scared. I nearly dropped my phone from how bad my hands are shaking. December was when Aaron was abducted last year. Are they going for the same schedule? I look down at my phone, rereading desperately. Will you make the first strike on the abandoned battlefield, or shall I? What do they mean, abandoned battlefield? Wait. Do they mean that abandoned building? Is this a way to call me out? Are they so confident that they think that they can mess with me like this? I swallowed the anger rising in my throat and do all I can to control myself from running off. I don't know what's going on in their head, but they have made the biggest mistake of their life. I'm not going to let them get the better of me anymore. But wait, Ted's waiting for me out there. I glance over in his general direction. Part of me wants to tell him about this, but I know I can't. I can't get him wrapped up in this mess too. I'll have to do this as discreetly as possible. It's gonna be hard to keep my cool in front of him. Ted's pretty perceptive when it comes to this stuff. If I'm just the slightest bit off of my normal game, he's gonna pick up on it like the snap of my fingers. Hey look, they have this club for ballroom dancing. As he picks up on my return, Ted shows me the page of his brochure and points to a certain section. I'm way too frazzled at the moment to care, but I do my best to pretend. I'm sure I'd like it in any other circumstance. Yeah, that's cool, Ted. I grab my bag from the bench and stand awkwardly in place. You're gonna have to say it eventually, Nicole. Keep it smooth. Sorry. This is super short notice, but something came up and I have to go. I hold my breath as Ted responds with a furrow of his brow. Right now? Is it something serious? Yeah, I'll tell you about it later, promise. I just gotta go right now. Ted squints his eyes at me, and for a moment, I think he's caught on. However, he soon goes back to reading about the school clubs. I won't hold you then. My chest clears of all the built-up anxiety. As a consolation, I kiss Ted on the cheek before hurrying off through campus out into town. I head back to the abandoned building as I am. Bringing a weapon might have been a good idea, but it'd be troublesome if anyone saw me like that. Somehow, this doesn't feel right. Am I doing this? For all I know, I'm rushing headfirst towards my own death. But I'm already here, and just think, maybe I can get this guy all on my own. I can't be afraid. I've come this far, and I've figured out so much. Even if I haven't figured out all the pieces just yet, I can't back down. This is what I tell myself as I walk into the abandoned building. It's as quiet as it always is, with no signs of anyone nearby. Even so, I stay on my guard and walk slowly. Anything can pop out when you least expect it. Especially with how dark it is in here. It's still afternoon, but it doesn't look like much light gets in after all. Wait, I can hear something. I turn to look down the nearby hall, and something moves past the corner and into the shadows. I take off as the adrenaline rush comes over me, flooding out the fear that should have taken its place. That had to be the abductor. I can hear the noise more clearly now. It's like footsteps, but of someone running. I bet they don't even realize they're leading me right to them. I keep chase, zipping past corners until I hear something else. There's a girl screaming. Oh my god, did they manage to abduct someone else instead? I don't waste any time. I race toward the door I can hear the screams from and pull it wide open. Stop! But there's no one to stop. The room is empty, and hold on, I think I've been here before. Yeah, this is that one room I investigated the last time I came here. Then, where is that sound coming from? I check around, and the closer I get to the bed, the louder the screams get. I sweep a hand under the pillows, and out comes a portable MP3 player. Scowling, I press the stop button and shove the player back in frustration. What the heck is this supposed to be? A slam of the door behind me is all I need for an answer. It should have been obvious in retrospect. It's a trap. And I fell for it like a big, fat idiot. This can't be happening. I grab the knob and try to turn it, but it sticks in place, no matter how much I pull and twist. Somebody help me! I bang on the door with both fists, rattling the door on its hinge. Get me out of here! Let me out, damn it! It doesn't matter how hard I hit, or if I kick and scream. The door doesn't open. I try and try until my hands sting, but I eventually find my breath giving out. After one final thump of my fist, I slump against the door and slide down to my knees. I should have been more careful. What am I going to do now? Tiredly, I drop onto my bottom and lean my back against the wall next to the door, knees hugged into my chest. I can't do anything. I can't even call for help. There's no signal in here. All I can do is sit on my useless butt. I bow my head between my knees, feeling like I want to die. I don't know what's going to happen now. But there's a noise from the door, I think. No, that was definitely a noise from the door. and I can see the knob shaking from this side. The abductor's trying to get in here. It has to be. I leap to my feet. This is my last chance. If I don't get him now... I press myself flat against the wall just as the door slowly swings out, creaking on its rusty hinges. All I have to do is go for the wrists. I let out a battle shout and leap blindly at the abductor from behind the door. Our limbs clash together, and I'm sure I've got a hold of their wrist. But suddenly, their body twists. In a flash, I'm the one with her wrists held against her back. Will you quit squirming around like that? It's me, you idiot. I go slack as I recognize Ted's wonderfully familiar southern drawl. Ted? Ted lets go the moment I realize it's him. I can't believe it. It's really him. I don't even need to turn around to know. How are you here? How did you find this place? It was simple enough. As relieved as I am to see Ted now, that feeling disappears as I notice how scarily serious he looks. You were acting fishier than an aquarium back at the school. I thought something was up, so I followed you to this place. I got worried when I realized you weren't coming out anytime soon. I came in here myself, and that's when I heard a ruckus coming from over here. That must have been me. And hold on, you were following me? Ted, that's totally not cool. Come off it. You're only saying that now that the shoe's on the other foot. Even though we're so close, Ted points right at my chest. You were the one who was sneaking around first like some sort of rat. What the heck was going on, Nicole? Don't tell me you locked yourself in this room now. No, of course not. It's just complicated. I'm a smart guy. I'm sure I'll understand. But Ted, Nicole, for the love of... explain. Tell me what's going on. Ted grabs my shoulders and steadies me so I'm looking directly at his face. It's obvious why he's pressing me so hard to tell. He's worried about me. Damn it, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. It doesn't look like he's about to let it go. I don't have much of a choice anymore, do I? Remember how I was looking into those disappearances earlier in the semester? It might be because I was scared I was going to be the next one abducted. It's a long story, but one day I started getting these weird messages on my blog. They told me I was going to be the next girl taken, and that I should watch myself and stuff like that. So I started investigating on my own to fight back against the abductor. I nearly cracked their case, and I thought I was going to put the final nail in the coffin today. But I guess the only coffin I nailed was mine. Earlier, I got another message from the abductor. They sent me a message saying that if I didn't want to be taken, I'd have to get to them first. I showed Ted the latest message that I got this afternoon. Here, this is it. I've gotten 4 more before this, but I erased them. After Ted finishes reading, he takes a deep breath through his nose and exhales loudly. This has been going on for how long now? Since the start of the semester. And I'm only hearing about this now? Ted's voice grows frighteningly louder than it was before. What the heck? Why are you getting angry? Are you seriously asking me that? Of course I'm gonna get angry. You're telling me straight to my face that you've been dealing with this for months, and you never thought to even mention it to me? I was seriously scared, okay? And it's not like it involved you. I didn't want to drag you into this. That is a goddamned excuse, and you know it. I back up and hit the wall as Ted advances on me. You're always like this, Nicole. From the moment I first met you, you've been absorbed in your own little world. I get it. Sure, you're self-sufficient. Nicole does what Nicole wants, and pardon whoever decides to get in her way. But you can't keep doing that. You can't do everything by yourself, you hear me? And why the hell can't I? I swat Ted's hands off me and push him back. I've been just fine up to now, alright? I got the clues, and I was gonna get them. No, I was. Wake up and smell the coffee. This isn't Nicole land. All you did was get yourself locked in this room. If I wasn't so concerned about you damn near all the time, who knows what would have happened to you. All I can do is purse my lips and try not to break down. He's right. And that's just so infuriatingly embarrassing. Ted takes another deep breath, appearing way too tense after all of that yelling. I'm not asking you to rely on me for everything. All I want is for you to rely on me when you need it. He awkwardly rubs the side of his arm. How do you think it feels knowing the girl you care about the most in the world can't even count on you when she's in trouble? I groaned in exasperation. I don't know. You're right. Super right. I can't do this anymore. I uneasily exhale and start fiddling with my ponytail, unsure of what to say in this awkward atmosphere. I know what I did was sucky, and I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I just didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to put you in danger too. I just got caught up in the investigation, and I've been so stressed out with everything that's been going on, and I was so scared, like 100% of the time, and I take a deep breath and collapse into Ted's chest, hugging him tight. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Please don't hate me for this. I nestle my face deeper into Ted's body, and it feels like I'm hugging a board with how unresponsive he's being. He must be seriously mad at me. However, just when it looks like I'm not going to get out of this one, I feel him wrap his arms back around me. A hand starts to stroke the back of my head softly. I'm not going to hate you for something this stupid. Ted gently pulls me off of him so he can look me in the eyes again. His face is stern, but there's so much warmth in his eyes that my heart bumps in my chest. Just don't pull something like this again. You never know what'll happen to you. I nod quickly, and I'm just relieved that he's still here by my side. All right, now that I've found you, we have to get going. We can't stay here. Ted takes me by the hand and pulls me out into the hall. We gotta call Pops and tell him about this. You might have to explain yourself all over again, but at least we can send out a search on this bastard. We'll get you somewhere safe. Use what you know, and I'm sure that'll be enough to get him. Ted looks over his shoulder at me, appearing a bit flushed. I'll protect you from this perp, no matter what, Nicole. I ain't letting them lay a hand on you while I'm here. Ted's remark is so sincere that I inexplicably end up sighing like a girl saved by some superhero. Even now, he's just as methodical and organized as he always is. It's really admirable. I squeeze Ted's protective hand. You're such a knight. Shut up, you. Despite the situation, I end up giggling at his childish response. I'm cut short, though, by the sound of someone clapping. Ted and I come out into a wide hall. The cracked windows on the side are still able to stream in light, and standing in the middle of all of the rubble and moss is... Oh, it's you. Jeff? What are you doing here? There's no mistaking it's Jeff, clapping his hands slowly. He stops the moment he sees we've recognized him and wears a smile like he couldn't care less. You've done it, Nicole. Congratulations are in order. A proper escape, and now comes time for the final confrontation with the villain, no? Jeff brings his hands up to his chest and slowly lowers them as if setting himself on display. Ugh, seriously? There's no time for this. Jeff, stop joking around and get going. I don't know how you got here, but... Hold on. It dawns on me. How would Jeff know about this place on his own? She asked you a question before. Why don't you answer it? Ted's voice is deathly low. He must have realized the same thing, and it doesn't seem like they came together, judging from his reaction. I already answered it, in a way. You two must have reached the same conclusion as well. I must be what I claim to be. I'm behind the abductions. I can prove it. I called you here with my last message, did I not? And here we are, facing each other in the abandoned battlefield. At least, that's how it was supposed to be. Jeff glances at Ted, annoyed. I wasn't expecting Nicole Grave +1. Sorry, I wasn't part of your plan. Ted keeps level, but I can tell he's just about ready to let loose on Jeff the moment he sees an opening. I can't let him do that just yet. Why? I thought this abductor guy was some huge creep, but it's just been you. I don't get it. Why would you take these girls like that? I simply needed to further my own gains, and I picked the appropriate subjects I needed to make this happen. It's not as though I hurt them, nor were they missed very much either. What gives you the right to say that? Yulie Shears, you remember her? She was the girl you took last month. There were so many people worried sick about her. Someone like you wouldn't get the good she's done for this place. Jeff scoffs as though he heard a bad joke. I'm sorry to be the one to inform you, but your crush was misplaced. Drop it. I didn't have a crush on her. I'll let you both in on a little secret. As you may have already guessed, after I abducted someone, I made sure to return them to the spot where I found them. Yulie Shears was already having the time of her underage life when I made my move. I barely needed the soporific I had prepared. Oh, I didn't see that coming. You see, I hadn't stripped an angel of her wings. I merely caged the rambunctious troublemaker hid within. I made it a policy to only take those who, frankly put it, deserve it. A kind, generous girl who turns out to have an excessive love for the party life. She was someone who was better off in confinement than in the outside world. Hypothetical of me to say, surely, but you must agree. No, I don't agree with that at all. I can't say for sure if you're lying, so I won't waste my breath trying to defend her. But even if what you say is true, that don't mean Yulie was a bad person. People ain't perfect. I've come to realize that now. The bad things she did shouldn't outweigh the good she accomplished. You had no right to judge her on your own terms like that. What you did wasn't deserved by anyone. Jeff reels back like Ted's words are blows to his face. He's really got him on the ropes with that. However, Jeff soon regains his composure and is back to smiling crookedly. Something about him seems more off than usual. Well, it's no matter. What's done is done. And now that the jig is up, as it were, it seems I must make my move. Jeff takes out a small ball with a string poking out of the side. It's only when he shows off his lighter in the other hand that I realize that string is a fuse. You've won this bout, Nicole. It was entertaining, to say the least. Before Ted and I have a chance to act, Jeff lights the ball and throws it at us, filling the room with blue-colored smoke. What the heck? It's one of them firework smoke bombs. Cover your mouth. I do as Ted tells me before he grabs me by my other hand and leads us back the way we came. I know this wasn't the plan, but I gotta catch him. Now that we know he's behind this all, we can't let him go free. Shouldn't we be heading after him then? We won't be able to see nothing in that smoke. There has to be another way. We hurry down the halls, not sure what we're looking for. Eventually, though, we reached a forked path. Which way do we go, right or left? Ted eyes both ways quickly. Let's split up here. Take the right, and I'll take the left. What? But Ted... If we both take the same path and it leads to a dead end, we've lost him. At least one of us has to find a way out. I know you can take Jeff on your own if it comes down to it. I trust you, Nicole. Really? Alright, fine. We'll do it your way. I poise myself at the right and get ready to take off. Be careful, Ted. Same to you. We both start running at the same time. This winding maze of halls puts me on edge now that I'm alone. Ted said he's counting on me, though. I have to make my way through somehow. It's long, decrepit pathway after long, decrepit pathway, but it all feels familiar somehow. That's when I think back to that one night I explored this place. It was all too dark, so I couldn't get a good look, but I think I walked this way back to the entrance. Sure enough, I see it coming up ahead. I quicken my pace, pumping out my fists until I'm bursting into the outside air. Man, I really need to run more. I have to slow down for a few paces and try to gather my breath, but the moment I get my second wind, I'm off again to the front lot. There are voices coming from up there, and they sound like they're fighting. Ted and Jeff. When I finally reach the front, I see them exchanging swings and kicks back and forth like they're in the middle of some kind of dance. Neither of them can get a clean hit in. With both of their speeds, it looks like it's a fight to see who wears out first. Finally, I get to give you what you've had coming for the longest time. He aims to swing right for Jeff's chest, but Jeff evades back like a boxer and counters with a jab of his own. I'm afraid you'll find it's you who'll be getting what's coming. I can't just stand here like this. Ted! Ted's nearly hit with the jab as he turns to look at me. Oh, you sneaky bastard. He loosens his jaw, then rushes forward, pushing Jeff back with his offensive. You've done a lot of horrible things in our day, but threatening Nicole like that is one thing I'll never forgive. Oh, really? And what will you be doing about it? Ted ducks under one of Jeff's swings and retaliates with a quick shove to Jeff's shoulder. It obviously didn't hurt that much, but what it does is send Jeff back against the wall of a close-by stone wall. Jeff gasps in surprise as he meets it. Seeing his chance, Ted pulls something off of his belt and flicks a switch on it. Whoa, is that a stun gun? It certainly is, and before Jeff has the chance to recover, Ted jabs the electric tips right into his neck, sending volts of electricity running up his spine. Jeff convulses in place, and taking his chance, Ted rears his free hand back, then slugs Jeff right across the jaw, sending him back against the wall. Can't believe he has a freaking stun gun, my god. The force is enough to send his eyes rolling back into the back of his head, and Jeff quietly slides down the wall until he's lying limp on the ground like a rag doll. Never underestimate an officer's son. Oh my gosh, Ted, are you okay? Nicole. I run up to him as soon as I see the coast is clear. I thought Ted was going to get seriously hurt there. You shouldn't have yelled out like that. He almost popped me one there. I know. Sorry. I was just really surprised. But you did it, Ted. You were so cool. I leap into Ted's arms, giving him a hug. I must have taken him by surprise because I hear the stun gun go off in his hand. I hastily hop back a step and glare at Ted like he's judging me. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Blushing, he flicks the switch on the stun gun and sticks it back into his belt. Never thought I'd get a chance to use the thing. Makes me feel sort of like a real cop. Did you just carry that thing around with you? I work late nights sometimes. It's a safety precaution. Ted grins a little and pats the stun gun on his hip. Besides, it's manlier than mace. Making sure that Jeff was both not dead and out cold, Ted called his dad to report the situation. What are you saying just happened? Ted flinches back from his phone. Ouch. Even I heard that, and Ted didn't even put Ron on speaker. Needless to say, Ted's dad wasn't very happy to hear that we went and put ourselves in danger like that. But on the plus side, he did say that it was impressive to have caught Jeff all on our own. We kept watch over Jeff for about 20 minutes before we saw the first cop car pull up to the abandoned building. Soon there were even more cars, and the whole street was eventually blinking with red and blue. When Ron got there, he pulled us aside to give us an earful of his own. It's kind of funny. Both he and Ted have these weird expressions on their face. Ted looked totally tight-lipped and mortified while Ron just babbled on, unsure of what to say. He must really not have to lecture Ted that often if they were both so unused to it like that. In the end, though, they hugged each other, and then they pulled me in to make it a group deal. What a couple of sweethearts. But Ron had a job to do. When Jeff finally recovered from all those volts, Ron was the one to cuff him up and lead him to the police car. Ted and I had to go down to the station too, for official statements and all that. By the time it was over, and the chaos had died down to a mild roar, it was pretty late at night. Still, I couldn't help but think of it as the beginning of the end. We caught Jeff. We actually solved the multiple disappearance mystery. Those were the words I drifted off to when I finally got a chance to sleep. It's been a few days since everything happened. The town still buzzes about the news, while the police are doing what they can to sort everything out. However, for the most part, it's been peaceful. Things are slowly turning back to normal. In fact, I'm on my way to work right now. There's that little ding as I step into the convenience store. Whoa, I'm still surprised that everything's up. I thought Ted would have started cleaning by now. Speaking of him. Hello? Anyone here? There's no one behind the counter right now, and I doubt Ted would leave the store empty to sit in the back room. Nicole? Right behind me? I turn around and there's Ted with an empty box in his arms. What are you doing here? I thought you were headed back home. And missed the store's last day? I couldn't do that. There's been a change of plans. I needed to rock out this hot uniform one last time before I left. I gesture at myself in the gray jumpsuit. I don't even have to roll it up like I usually do. That's mostly because of Ted. I figure he'd appreciate it if I wore it like it was supposed to at least once in my time here. You can argue that it's kinda late for that, but that's when I'd start ignoring you. Ted chuckles at me and places the empty boxes down on the floor. Take your usual place then. I'm just getting ready to move out all of the merch when the day's over. Oh, I can help with that too. Ted eyes me suspiciously. Looking for more excuses to avoid your family? Whoa, you're sharp. I should have figured you'd catch on eventually. I saunter over behind the counter so I can rest my elbows on top of it. My mom and dad are totally pissed at me for not saying anything sooner. I can relate. I lower my eyelids at him from across the counter. Not helping. So yeah, I kinda don't want to have to deal with that right now. They're not that mad. They said they'd ground me if I hadn't brought Jeff to justice. They're just being so smothering and annoying. I can relate to that. Pop seems to be watching me more carefully than he used to. But I think we'll be fine eventually. Stop it. Stop what? Ugh, I can't explain it. Whenever you talk about your dad, you always have this annoying look on your face. You two are way too close. I hate you guys. Don't be jealous. I'm so jealous. I wish I was that close to my dad. You should start by not avoiding him. Okay, we're done talking about parents now. I hastily end the subject and start rubbing my hands over the counter, trying to commit every last inch to tactile memory. I'm going to miss everything, believe it or not. I spent a lot of time here. Playfully, I open the cash register and giggle at the noise it makes. Like, who knows when I'll be able to hear that again? Well, all you have to do is find a new cashier job. Problem solved. But it won't be this register. That's the thing. I just have tons of memories in this place, even if nearly all of them were working together with you. That might be the one thing I miss the most. My voice goes a little quiet as I wait to see how Ted reacts. Was that too much to say? Should I have kept quiet? I'll miss all that too. Ted lets out a haggard chuckle and he rubs the back of his head. If I'm being honest, I've been trying my hardest not to think about it. This store was the most important thing to me, so now that it's closing down, I was worried it'd take a little part of me with it. But it's better this way. I've let that all go, and now I can focus on other important things in my life. Like school, finding a new job, taking care of my pa, and you, Nicole. The way I see it, losing the store is a fair exchange for finding you. The atmosphere between us changes as Ted approaches me, eventually making his way behind the counter. I look at him, unsure of what he's about to do, and I suddenly find his hands in mine. He jerks me forward, so I collide with his chest. Whoa, hey! I'm really gonna miss you over the break. You know that? I've been doing my best to be the mature one here, but damn! Ted has his hands locked around my waist, and I carefully perch mine on his chest as I smirk at him. I guess it's finally my turn to be the mature one. Well, shut up. I'm grinning as he kisses me, unbelievably happy that I'm in his arms like I am now. I know that coming to this school led me to being a target for Jeff. But it's like Ted said, it's a fair exchange for finding him. Eventually, the two of us part from the kiss, grinning like idiots with swollen lips. Isn't there some ethical code against inter-workplace romance? It's the last day and all. I figure I can let something slide. Ted grins at me as he walks from behind the counter back into the aisles. But still, no slacking. You gotta do it right from start to finish. Yes, boss. I smile as I straighten out my uniform, trying to take from Ted's example. Doing things right from start to finish. Yeah, I think I've done a good job of that so far. And that's the end of Ted's super special awesome route. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you want to see more episodes like it, just click the eye at the top and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.